Hi everyone, so I'm coming to you today with probably the biggest makeup date I've ever done. We're going to be talking about some huge declutters that I've done. I did some like repackaging, or they call it condensing, in kind of the makeup artistry world. And I also did some frankening recently. I think I should have already posted up kind of like a time lapse of me doing like an hour's worth of frankening and condensing. And yeah, so this makeup date is going to be a little bit of everything, kind of jumping on the trend with like the mid-year inventory type stuff. But I feel like this one's a big change, like not just decluttering and not just talking about numbers. Like this is one of those, I think, things where I talk often about how my makeup collection is just like so dynamic and often changing. It's not set in stone. And I think I'm just in a season of my project planning where I just have to make some hard decisions and like actually make my collection look the way that I want it to look right now. And that has led to some really big changes and led to some really hard decisions. But I'm honestly like feeling really relieved at the same time. So let's talk through it. I think the short bit is I actually haven't had too much that came into my collection. I think I got some samples of some cream bronzers. Let me see where's the last time I put some of them. Not cream bronzers, like kind of like bronzing drops. So I just got some samples, and because I just don't think I can commit to a full one. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of like my new philosophy, I think, around color products especially, is like if I can get a sample, I'll use those up first. And there's no reason for me to commit to buying a new one. And I'm lucky enough where I live close to a place that supplies samples, actually multiple stores that supply samples. And so I think I'm just gonna like play with that idea for a little bit. But with that, I also just needed to like, I know I had a lot of stuff in my collection, but I was just so done. Like, I was kind of at a point where it wasn't fun for me to work through my Franken products. So that's why I've let so much stuff go. So let's talk through those. I have some just like body care stuff, like empty. So let's just talk through that because that's boring. Finished the conditioner, that's done. I don't like the pump bottles because I can never get to the end. And then like the last third, I end up having to screw off the top. So I shouldn't buy any more of those again, but then I bought like a huge bottle of conditioner next and I'm like, it's too heavy for me to like tip over every time. So I'm kind of in between. I think the squeeze bottles are always the best. And then what's the other? I have an eye cream empty. Eye creams for me are no joke. So I also end up getting a sample. And one of these lasts me for like, I think close to like a month, 3 to 4 weeks. So I still have another one I'm working through. And so that's kind of actually where the whole like sample philosophy came from, was like, if there are some makeup products that take that long, I might as well just do the sample and not necessarily commit to the full thing. One, that's a lot of money. Two, I also just don't know how my skin will react, and like, do I like the scent? Do I like these qualities or those qualities? So I feel like that just helps with kind of just my like, I know I have some ADHD tendencies in terms of being easily distracted. I want new experiences. So I think like, especially for things that take a long time to work through, I feel like having a sample just makes a lot more sense for me. I feel like I had one more skincare type thing. Oh, actually two more. This one is, this one's like a hair scalp thing treatment, not treatment, it's like a scrub. I just got it from like, it's a little bit off brand. Got it from like a beauty store when I was traveling, and yeah, I don't know, it's just it was like an extra step that I didn't really want to do. The last one actually is nearly empty. I think it only has one more use. It's a L'Oreal moisturizer, and that's all that's left. So it's really just one use. So I think by the end of the day this will be done. But sometimes I actually think like showing the last use is more satisfying than the full empty, just because it's like, yeah, guys, I've used up that much of it. I am quite generous with my use. But yeah, but also like having this bulky packaging for moisturizer, I don't necessarily have, I like to keep things really slim and sleek and really streamlined. And so having something bulky like this was like, where did I put this? I ended up having it on its side for a while because that just fit better. But then like, you know, the product would get onto the lid and stuff, and it was just, yeah, so that's done, and I'll just recycle that. Okay. This is the damage I did on my collection. I am gonna let all these things go, plus a few things more to declutter. And I actually have a few more things in this bag too. So this one's big, you guys. Man. All right, let's go. So the first thing is that I have been doing my best to try to phase out MAC packaging. I don't, there's a makeup campaign that I didn't really believe in and felt really put off by. So at that point, that was like my stopping point with the MAC brand. I mean, they make really, really quality products, and I love especially their Freedom system. I already decluttered some to like friends and family, but I still had 4 of their Freedom palettes. But I'm just moving all of them out. I just really can't see myself reaching for these. And I mean, they have so many great qualities about them. Just, you know, just how organized they are. The magnetic component is very satisfying in terms of the way they snap out, open and closed. But I think I just need to move away from it. And because I think it actually like it forces me a little bit into their system versus me just kind of, now I'm just going rogue, you guys. Using all sorts of things that are not for makeup, organization purposes. I feel like I'm going a little bit backwards instead of forwards. I don't know, but I mean, I might hang on to this for like another week just to see, but I just haven't really. And I think on that same vein, I am preparing to also let go of these 2 MAC palettes as well. In my little Franken video, I did make an attempt to like try to organize these a little bit better, but just looking at them, I just don't really feel like it. Like, this is a lip palette where I had all 6 Viva Glam shades from like over a decade ago. I used those all up, not all of them up, but like I used up what I could. And then I just started putting shades in, like balms and things like that. And this honestly served me really well. Like, you guys have seen this lots and lots and lots, but now it's just looking like the same shade over and over and over again. Like, it's just, I can't even recall like what's in here. That's just like how removed I am from this palette. And I just don't feel like working through these. I don't know. I think similar to these Freedom palettes, like there's good qualities to this, but I think I'm just starting to move away from it. So we'll hang around to it. Like, I always feel like I should have some sort of graveyard lip thing going on so that I can mix it in with my other mixes. But I feel like I just need a fresh start with things. And this palette, I think, is coming up on 2 years in my collection. Like this actual palette. And so while it's a very sturdy palette, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it anymore. I've gone through so many iterations. That's just not fresh and new and just like something I really want to look at anymore. Maybe that's a good way of putting it. This is originally a matte concealer palette, and as you can see now, it has more like all these blush formulas. But I think some of the things that I had demoted from lip to blush is just so old, it just separated really badly when I was mixing this in here or like melting it together. Also just these shades right now, just I don't know, this light one isn't really working for me. And I'm in a season now where I'm gravitating more to pencil, like cream based products. Actually right now I'm working through a lip liner as a cream blush. And again, I just don't feel like reaching for these. And I feel like I forced myself to use up so many cream blushes over the last 1.5 years that I'm just kind of done with it as well. Plus with the MAC branding on it, I'm a little bit less inclined to keep it. Again, very, very solid packaging. Very solid products. I did scrape out the remnants of whatever concealer's in here and gonna try to use it, but I'm also not really feeling cream concealers lately either. My skin has been good enough over the last few years where I don't necessarily feel like I need to be concealing anything. Not that like I have stuff to conceal, but I just personally, I have also become more confident in my face and in my skin and more comfortable that I just don't really necessarily need that other than just like some evening out. So I mean, that's great and all, but I think it's just like, oh, I don't actually need this anymore. And I definitely picked this up at a time where I was like, I actually didn't really need it, to be honest. I think I was just really curious about trying all the different shades and seeing if it could work for me. So yeah, it's like I've already grown out of that phase. And that one might have been about 1 year old. And I got through about half of the palette, I think. So I would say not bad, but I didn't get to use the whole thing up, and just trying to put new things in hasn't really worked out for me either. It's kind of one of those points where in my frankening journey, it's like, okay, I frankened it, and is it actually something I love, or has my franken failed? But at least I got to try to do something with it. And so I can't say it's a failure. It's just like I tried and it's not working for me right now. Okay, so let's see, all the other stuff. This one held a cream highlighter, and then I actually put my cream blush into it, which I put into that red palette. So this one I just actually cleaned out, so I can maybe recycle this one. I guess I'll have to clean out the other ones too to recycle those. But yeah, this one I just cleaned out during the thing. This jar held my graveyard lipsticks, and that's the one that I put into the, was it the red palette? No, cream blush went to the black palette. This stuff went to the red palette, and it just all mixed together to the same shade. A lot of the shades in there were like close to 3 or 4 years old, so I didn't feel bad about mixing in and now letting it go. I'll put this in this pile over here. Okay, these ones are definitely pretty tough. What was this one? This one was, actually can't recall what was in here all of a sudden. Oh, this is a lip balm. I had decanted some in here and I used that up, and that for me was an accomplishment because it took a little while, but I did actually enjoy using it out of a little sample pack that I just like tucked away in my little makeup setup rather than having the full tube, because I don't like using things from tube. I have my problems with this, and I think I'm ready to let this go. I feel bad again that haven't used it up, but this has gone through again multiple iterations. It's been franken, repackaged, and this originally was Bougie, which looks very nice. It kind of has like a green shift to it, but it just turns out very, very red. And even on my very warmer skin tone now, I just don't like having this reddish tone on my eyes. And I've been working at it all summer, trying to mix those two shades together, which was the golden one is like a Franken shade, and then the darker one is the original Bougie shade, but it just still turns out so warm. And I think I'm just ready to let eye primer go, or just get a sample of a different shade that might work better for my needs. So yeah, unfortunately, I think it's time to go. I think I picked up the Bougie shade about a year ago, and it's just never worked for me. Like I picked it up, was like, oh, it's so cool having this green shift, and then like the green shift is actually what I was looking for, more like that olive green cool tonedness, but then it turned out just so red, and it was just really disappointing. And so I've been trying to work at it since then, but just really disappointed that I can't, it's just too much to work through. I also decanted this Cover FX one. So this one is now in, I'll show you in my palette. This actually filled up like 3 tubes. There was still so much. It was maybe like up here, and it filled up so much of my containers. So I'll still be working through this. Just the packaging, I would like, God, again, squeezy tube, not a fan. I've already been working it out of a sample container for a few months now. And then, this is an empty pan of my bronzer. I went ahead and, actually came from this one, went ahead and took out the rest and mixed it and put it into another, I'll just show you guys. I put it in my Burberry one actually, because my Burberry shadow broke, but so I just like mixed it in here. Now the shade of the Burberry one is Rosewood, but it was so taupey, so now I feel like it actually looks like Rosewood. Which I think is great. And I've been starting to incorporate as much as I can into my Freedom palettes, but this is just the packaging that I would like to keep and use, so that's done. But I was able to take out the pan from this because I want to do something else with this, so I'll show you shortly what's going on there. I hate to give up nice luxe packaging, but honestly, this is just plastic. Just plastic. There was a really pretty olive shade in here, so I pried that one out. That one's now in my Freedom palettes, but I'm gonna let this go. I was gonna think of maybe if I could take out the inner component, but guess what it is? Let's see if I can take it out now. It might not let me, but man, I wish I could. Nope, it's not gonna come off. Basically, the casing of the gold is like, the hinge is with the black piece, and it's just a gold casing around the black piece. So it's not like I could even just take out the innards and use this for something else, because I would totally do that. Yeah, I think other than like taking out the metal pan, melting it all down, like it's just not worth it. So gonna get recycled, unfortunately. And then these are my last palettes. Nope, I have these ones too. I got this as a gift last December, a Pixie balm type of some sort. And I decided to decant this and then put this in my Freedom palette. So it's not going to waste, it's just being repurposed. that's kind of in there. This one was Expensive Pink from MAC. I actually took out the pan. There's a way where you can like melt the bottom and push it up. So I did that. It is now in my Freedom palette, one of my favorite MAC shades. And again, just one I don't want to carry around. It's just a single, but also just to get rid of that packaging. So as you can see, a lot of those were just more like getting packaging out of my collection, not necessarily that I am decluttering the actual product. I think most of the ones that I'm actually decluttering was that eye primer and those palettes of the cream blush and the lipstick. So I think that feels nice, is like I'm more condensing and getting rid of packaging. These ones I am gonna declutter. This one's kind of half and half. Oops. This one's the Makeup Forever palette. I've shown this a few times. I love the design of this. This is about a decade old, maybe a little bit more. But it's just really heavy, takes up a lot of space, or for me. I know most people would be like, that's so sleek. But for me, it's taking up a lot of space. It's some very, very pretty, colorful eyeshadows, which I don't have a lot of in my collection. But I decided I would be keeping 6 and letting go of these 3. This one's too shimmery. These ones are super hard pan and really powdery. Tried to make it work a few times, but it's just like, I don't know. I got this palette for like 10-ish bucks. You know, retail was whatever back then. But yeah, I mean, the other shades for being over a decade old still work fine. So I am keeping those. But, and if, in case you're wondering, I would have reused this to like give to my kids or something like that, right? But the pan on these, do I have a good example right away? Maybe not. Let me pull one from my Freedom palette here. They are just a little bit too, actually this one fit. Wait, what? This one fits. Okay, so it looks like I have some pans that fit, but I think the regular ones, yeah, like my regular ones don't fit in there. Okay, so I might have to rethink that a little bit. If I have any more of these like cheapo pans, maybe that could fit, but yeah. Okay, I'll think about that a little bit more now that I'm like, oh, whoa, something actually fit in there. I don't think I have too many of those pans that are kind of small. Maybe they'll squeeze in, I'm not sure. But I know that at least when I took out the pans, like the actual pans in here, I was just able to pry them out. They are a little bit smaller than your regular eyeshadow pans. So now that maybe they have, now that I took out the pan, maybe this actual circle is big enough to fit some of them. So I will think about that a little bit more and actually maybe give this to my kids, because I do enjoy this packaging a lot. I think it's just a matter of the shades in there weren't working for me and for my needs, and yeah, all that stuff. So I will think through that. I am going to, I might use this a few more times, but I am going to let go of this by the end of the month. This is my Sephora Micro Smooth Baked Powder Highlight. I think they've since reformulated and repackaged it, and so now it's back out in Sephora, but at least when they were letting go of this, it was like $7 or something like that. This is like their warmer, darker tone one, and I just have not been, as I've tried using it all summer through multiple projects. You've seen me use it, and 1, it's really hard to see progress, and 2, it just looks muddied to me once it gets on my face. And while I really wish I could dedicate myself to really work through this, I think I just want to dedicate my time to some of the other products that are in my collection, and just let this one go. I've used it last summer, I used it this summer, and especially with my, I guess it's just only been about a year, but I kind of have like a 2-year policy on my products, is that if I'm not enjoying it with, you know, like I'll keep it in my collection for about 2 years, and then, or 2 seasons or whatever, right? 2 of the same seasons, like last summer, this summer. If I'm not enjoying it, then I'm just going to let it go. So this, I'm hoping I can pass this on to someone in my community who will love this a lot more than me. This one I am really sad about. This was gifted to me by a friend, still Steph here on YouTube. This is the Viseart palette, and I've had it in multiple challenges. Actually, right now I have one in one of my projects. But it's just, I don't know. I actually have the purple shades on my cheeks, and it's a little worn off at this point. But I think I'm just such a subtle makeup user that having something so starkly different to my skin tone, it's a little scary. And some of these other shades just don't really, you know, come off the way I want it to. And I have other shades that I think serve similar purposes. So there's really no reason for me to keep this. It is nice in terms of the packaging and how it's magnetic and everything like that. But I think I'm also going to gift this to someone in my community and see if they can try it out. I could also gift it to my kids and see what they think too. So I'm kind of somewhere between there. But I think this is also going to be, by the end of the month, be out of my personal rotation. And then I'm gonna call it, you guys. I put a little bit into a Franken yesterday when I did it, but this trio I think just needs, I can't commit myself to it anymore. This packaging has been in my collection for years now, maybe 3, 4, 5. And then I've just been Frankening stuff in here ever since then. I think the only one that might still be the original is this darkest shade, maybe. Of course, you can see everything else is kind of speckled and Franken. So I don't feel comfortable passing it on to anyone in my community. I don't know. I might just have to let the whole thing go. So that's kind of thing there. Also, like the packaging is kind of loose. So it's not that fun to like actually use other than to just keep graveyard things and to kind of Franken from here. There is a lot of product in here, 20 grams over the 3 pans. So it's definitely no joke. And I think I might have hit pan on something and then the rest of the time I've just been Frankening it. So that's kind of the deal there. Okay, I think those were all my empties. As you can see, let me see. I'm just going to count it up really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 units of packaging, and whatever is in them or not is going to be moving out of my collection by the end of the month. I know we're only at the beginning of the month. I'm filming this at the beginning of the month, but there's like a few things where I'm like, I'm going to give it kind of like a, I don't know, mediocre attempt to make it work, but I've kind of checked out of them, to be honest. And looking forward to kind of this new, what my collection looks like currently. So I guess this is kind of like an inventory. It's so much smaller now. I mean, it basically, let me see if I can show you guys. It basically fits into my little makeup tray here, which is looking a lot emptier than it was before. Mainly brushes in there, and then just this makeup bag. I might have like 1 or 2 more things like in a drawer back there, but it's really not that much more. I guess I still have a few like graveyard type things, so I guess I might show you guys. This is like some just eyeshadow. It's just like this muddy mix of eyeshadow, which may or may not get decluttered at some point, but I decided I'll just keep this around for now. There's no hurt in ever keeping anything. It's just like, you know, if I can make maybe 3 more Franken shadows with it or something like that, like, you know, I would have done something with it. This is face powder, so I'm gonna keep that around. Not quite my shade yet. Not quite my shade right now. I will be keeping this Monet eyeshadow palette. It's just too pretty to give up just yet. As much as I don't feel myself reaching for it, it's not like a favorite palette or anything like that, but it's just really pretty and something that, when Still Steph gifted this to me, had first like shown her whole collection of these, I was like, I need to get one at some point in my life, and she was so gracious in gifting one. And they are quite pretty, but they don't quite, the payoff and the way I use them, you know, I'll use them for like a challenge or a project, but it's tough after that. These tins, by the way, are from Dollar Tree. So you can see the little sticker there, and they are magnetic, so that's why I've been using them. So these are that's Cover FX primer. I was able to fill an entire Tatcha one. It actually feels a lot nicer. I had like a cream bronzer in here, and just with the white packaging, it was too messy. So to have a primer back in here again feels really nice. And then I was able to fill these 3 little sample containers. So I'm just gonna keep these in here for now. I think other sample things might land in here at some point, and this will become like my sample inventory box. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. And then the last thing in that little bag of things is what was my condensed makeup palette and is now my Freedom palette. So it all, there's the cap, and then it all sits in here. Everything that I had taken from my Freedom palettes fits in here. The YSL eyeshadows right there. The rosewood, not the rosewood, the expensive pink one is right here, the one I decanted. These are the lip balms, the Pixie ones up here. The ones with the stickers are the other Sephora samples I got. I had 2 like kind of face powders that I had in my Freedom palette. And then, yeah, some of these are Franken, some are not. And oh, and then these 2 are from the Makeup Forever one. The rest of the Makeup Forever one is actually in here. I took out, like I said, I took out the pan so that I was able to fit in these 4. These don't stay in here very well, so I'm just gonna tilt it like that. But yeah, these were like the most colorful ones. There's a purple, a blue, and kind of like a green brown. And then there's, I think that's the silver one. The silver for me is colorful. But I did put a puff in here so that things kind of stay put. So that's kind of where all my not daily eyeshadows are right now. And it just feels nice to have everything like in one go. And it's cool actually, the Sephora samples sit perfectly in here, and kind of I can keep the cap closed that way because it's such a slim profile that it like keeps it shut, because I know sometimes those sample little jars can pop open. So, and then my condensed makeup palette now looks like this. Not my favorite pattern by any means, but it's cute. And things are still falling apart a little bit. I think I might need to redo that magnet in particular, but it's like one side is all powders, one side is all creams. These are kind of the cream sticks that I've been using a lot. And then, yeah, like everything's magnetic, so I can just pop it out and open it. This is a cream bronzer. I don't know how much I'm going to commit to that. This is one of those other Cover FX primers, so I put that one in there for daily use. Been pulling from a few things. Oh, this is the Rosewood eyeshadow that was originally in the Burberry one, and so I repressed that in here. I used the dry wet pressing method that I came up with, and I showed that in my condensing video. But yeah, this is kind of what it's been looking like. I think it just looks like this, but just in different packaging, I think, over the whole summer, ever since I started my condensed makeup palette. So this is what I already showed you this one, where it looks more rosewood than it is taupey now. So very happy with that. It's actually still drying down, so I'm waiting for that. And yeah, that's about it. So let me see if I'm able to stack most things. I have like a face powder that's in here. Oh, this is my Chaos eyeshadow palette. I was actually hoping to maybe put that in there, but it was just too confusing, I think, so I didn't bother. It might. I didn't even check the pan. The pans almost match. I feel like it almost could if I really wanted it to. Because this does have like the opening that it has down here, so there's that. The Rosewood one, and then the Monet one. And I mean, otherwise I just kind of have like random things. Oh wow, I have like really random things at the bottom here, so I'm gonna take those out. What are you? Oh, you're my split pan eyeshadow. I forgot about this. I will keep this one around. This one's nice for traveling. It's like a mini palette. That's cute. Okay. Sponge, sunscreen. So yeah, this is my, ooh. I mean, I guess I have some like lipsticks and stuff that I didn't pull out. Like this is one of them. My Rare Beauty one that I've shown in the last few videos. So I'm gonna try to hold this up. This is kind of all of the other just packaging type things. My condensed palette, my Monet one, some of the other powders that I just showed. But yeah, things are a lot more condensed now, so I'm super happy with that. Let me go back to this one. And yeah, I'm a little bit on the fence with some of the Franken lipsticks I have in my collection too. So I think there's 3. Yeah, there's 3 of them. So I think I need to go through that and kind of figure out what I'm thinking about for that. I would like to move back into lip glosses soon, because I do have a lot of lip gloss, like just plain lip gloss. Like I got like a big bag of it to Franken and stuff like that. And just some of the shades that I've been working through on these just haven't really been working for me. So I need to think through that part a little bit more. All that to say, my new collection now, let me see how many pieces it has in terms of like packaging. I know I have like a ton of eyeshadows within some stuff, but in terms of like packaging, this is how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, mascara, 11, 3 lipsticks, 14, 15-ish. That's pretty crazy. Of course, if you actually like looked inside, and it would be, I don't know how many, like 25 eyeshadows and whatnot. And you know, however many blushes. I think in terms of, yeah, just not having dedicated blushes, and cream blushes in particular. I have a few like powder blushes to work through. I would consider this new Franken Rosewood as maybe like a bronzer, which actually I don't mind bronzers. Actually maybe prefer them. I just want to make sure some color comes back in my face, but not necessarily like, you know, obvious blush and obvious contour and stuff like that. But yeah, this feels crazy. I mean, you saw it was what, maybe 18 packaging declutters, and now to 15, so it's almost over half of my packaging is out now. And of course, like rejigged into some other things, and you know, some new cases like this came in. But I think that it's still, like when I look at it, I just feel a lot lighter, and I feel like, wow, I feel like I'm more or less in control. There are some bits and pieces where I think I could still work at. And that's always like the perspective I want as a project planner, is like, okay, I still have things to work towards, but this feels a lot more manageable, and a lot more in line with how I've been using my makeup, how I've been approaching my makeup, and also gives space for that little like sample idea that I've had. So I might end up grabbing some sort of cream eyeshadow sample, just something that I actually love and enjoy, and actually makes me happy, because the one that I had and was working through, it just was kind of a drag to work through. And I think that was a sign for me, at least, was like, I need to really seriously consider letting this go, because it's not something I look forward to using anymore. And so was a lot of the other palettes. It just became like, when am I going to finish it? Not so much, am I actually enjoying the process of using it? But I will warn that I mentioned in one of those coaching videos, was I need to be careful. We all need to be careful if I am getting rid of stuff only to bring in more stuff, right? That's not, those are two different things, to look for items to come in versus to actually be using things up. And I know they often go hand in hand, but they really shouldn't be one because of the other. And I feel like this is a little bit of that. So I feel like I'm not necessarily practicing what I'm preaching. And it's always a little bit nuanced. And I think this is a step I want to try. And I'm hoping that because I am more focused on maybe getting like small samples, that it's not as detrimental as like, oh, I want to buy something more expensive, or I want to buy something luxurious, I want to buy something because of its packaging. I think I just want to be bringing things into my collection that I'm actually excited to try and excited to make looks out of. So that's kind of where I stand. It's kind of, I still feel weird about it. And I hope that, yeah, that as you walked with me through this journey, summarized into, I don't know, it's 30-ish minutes now, that you kind of get where I'm coming from. And yeah, it feels very not so much project panny to me to make this move. But at the same time, I think that I'm okay with it. I'm willing to do this for myself, and you know, these are the steps I took. And I think I'm doing my best to, you know, still follow a lot of the things that have worked for me in the past, in terms of frankening, repackaging, condensing, making sure that I'm able to just see things and understand where my collection is at. And once I have a better grasp of that, then I can, you know, go out and really consider like what I want to bring into my collection. And to bring things in slowly. I think that's kind of the name of the game right now. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Hopefully you found this at least somewhat interesting, that this is my approach to project panning right now in the season I'm at. I think I've been working at this project panning thing for so many years that I think this is kind of the refresh that I need for myself, rather than slowly doing refreshes. And maybe it's just me in this season. I'm just like, I just need to get a big change somewhere in my life, and this is one of the main things I can control. But that's a whole nother thing. All right, well, thank you so much for sitting with me through this. I hope that you will have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you later.